Electrification Systems helps to modernize the grid and provide solutions to bring more renewable energy online. I am here this week in Stafford, UK at our transformer facility, where our goal is to help increase the flow and efficiency to double the capacity of this factory to help meet the increased market demand over the next several years. This week, the team has two problems to solve. The first is around improving our production efficiency, and the second is about increased visual management to improve customer outcomes. The top outcomes this week for Team 1 have been around helping to increase the quality of the materials we have delivered from our suppliers. For Team 2, it's been around daily management to help with early detection of issues. Overall, the work we did in Stafford is foundational to enable us to double our output over the course of a year, which will increase revenue by 150%. We also implemented quality improvements that address 90% of our supplier quality escapes from 2023, reducing our cost of poor quality by 30%. These improvements will help us deliver on our commitments to our customers. Lean helps us to drive out waste, enabling us to deliver on GE Vernova's KPIs around growth and decarbonization. Lean is a mindset, and it's operating with that mindset that enables our business to play a critical role in the energy transition.
Our future is electric. What is electrification? It is about the process, substituting technologies powered by fossil energy with technology that use electricity. On the left side of this page, as you can see, two major domains at the center of electrification. Power grids, the electro-digital networks, transferring and distributing electricity, and power to X, the electrical conversion, storage, and reconversion to other kinds of energies. Both addressable markets by GE Vernova growing double digits. Reaching a decarbonized world with the net zero energy systems requires to mobilize several levers to reduce the 50 gigaton of CO2 equivalent emission before 2050. Electrification is serving each of these critical CO2 reduction drivers. Let me provide some examples here on the right side of this page. First, power generation decarbonization. 26% of emission to be reduced. Electrification is obviously allowing renewable distribution and transmission, and securing the grid to integrate these intermittent variable energy resources. Energy efficiency, 23% of emissions to be reduced. The less polluting and the most affordable energy is the energy you do not use. Through automation and digitization, electrical devices can save up to 20 and even 30% of energy consumption. Third, electrification of the end use. Electrification allows, obviously, to convert heavy-duty industries and transportation to electricity, and allow as well the access of power, as mentioned Scott, to new exponential demands like data centers. And finally, e-fuels, green hydrogen and its derivative, addressing the remaining 29% emission very hard to abate, for which electrification is allowing to provide the microgrid or the power conditioning systems for electrolyzer or carbon capture systems. Overall, electrification is the backbone of the energy transition towards this net zero energy system. And this is why we are benefiting from this fantastic growth. From $75 billion in 2022, we expect the addressable market by GE Vernova to more than double in 2030. GE Vernova is covering the full value chain of electrification, from the point of generation to the point of consumption. I must admit we have a unique positioning here. Our equipment evacuates the electricity from conventional power plants or renewable, transmit it at international or national level with high voltage direct current or alternating current transmission systems, and it flows afterwards to the distribution grid at regional or local level, to finally being converted into other kind of energies necessary for each end use. For instance, mechanical energy with electrical motors, thermal energy with electrical furnaces, chemical energy with battery storage or electrolyzer. On power grids, orchestration allows to monitor and to conduct the full infrastructure. We are strong on grid transmission and primary distribution, but we are leading edge on grid orchestration and digitization to supervise electrical networks, which are becoming more and more complex. From where comes exactly this current outstanding growth? Well, obviously, it is fueled by the imperative of energy transition, with the rise of the low carbon intensity energies for sure, but as well energy security. Think about the Ukrainian and Russian conflicts. 1,400 cyber attacks on the Ukrainian grid only in 2022. At the moment, more than 50% of the transmission substation in Ukraine has been destroyed by Russian missiles, far beyond any attacks on the Ukrainian power plants. The grid is a vital infrastructure for national security. No transmission, no transition. No energy resiliency, no energy security. The second big growth driver behind that is obviously the need for grid stability and flexibility induced by the renewables. Viable energy resources induce an intrinsic instability of frequency and voltage into the grid, which could lead ultimately to a blackout. This is why reinforcing the grid with different kinds of equipment, energy storage, power for control, reactive power equipment is mission critical to restore this equilibrium. And finally, the most obvious growth driver, the global increasing demand for electricity, accounting for 20% of world energy consumption in 2022, electricity will reach 50% in 2050 to reach the net zero objectives. To capture efficiently this profitable growth, Vernova is committed to develop top-notch technologies that allow us to secure a leading-edge positioning. On the top side of this page, for power grids, we developed 2 gigawatt bipole HVDC system, a full range of grid stabilization solution, and we offer SF6-free switchgears, contributing to set the standard of the grid industry. Last year, if you remember, we deep dived into a technological platform for HVDC, and 3 weeks after the Investor Day, we were very pleased to be awarded 5 major HVDC deals for the North Sea with TenneT, the Dutch and German transmission system operator. This year, early this year, we have been awarded by National Grid UK, EGL1, and we continue to develop a very solid pipeline of opportunities in Europe, but as well in the USA and in India. Regarding grid stabilization, we are now offering the most advanced technology, grid forming controls, and supercapacitors for STATCOM. And when it comes to sustainability, we have been one of the first to offer high voltage switchgears not using SF6, an electrical isolator used by all OEMs, but a very potent gas for the planet. If we switch now to the bottom side of the page, Power to X, which is critical for decarbonizing end use. We are co-leader worldwide on converters for green steel electric arc furnaces. Our converter allows these giant furnaces to connect directly to the grid without creating electric harmonics pollution, which is the regulatory obligation, and as well which allows the end user to save on power and on electrodes in the furnace. Another example of our innovation is about marine electrification. We are going to disrupt the marine motorization, fusing power electronics drive and the motor into a very compact integrated electric network topology. We envision to save, thanks to this technology, up to 70% of the footprint on a ship and 50% of the cost for the customer. And we continue, obviously, to upgrade our battery storage solution with grid forming controls and a more flexible battery management systems. As you can see, Vernova renews its technological platforms to stay at the forefront of innovation. But innovating will be not enough in front of the outstanding growth. Today, we also invest in our industrial capacities and engineering capabilities to meet customer expectations. First, deploying our lean operating system for sure, to reduce our lead time like we did in 2023. We achieved 35% lead time reduction in Charleroi, for instance, one of our factories in the US, in Pennsylvania, to fulfill the accelerating demand, especially here in the US market, and simultaneously to reduce our costs and to expand our production output. Second point, investing in our plants like Stafford, this UK site you've seen in the little video, to double our manufacturing capacity of both HVDC valves and transformers, and by redesigning the shop floor layout, adding new production line, and modernizing our ultra-high voltage test laboratory. Finally, growing services will be very important, and growing services more aggressively for this segment. Debottlenecking our service workshops and enlarging our range of offering with more advanced services like digital asset performance management. Digital, indeed, another exciting domain of investment. During 2022 Investor Day, we promised to deliver a more acceptable financial performance for these electrification assets. Today, I'm very pleased to say that we overachieved this first objective, even better than the mid-single-digit revenue growth and modest profitability indicated during last year's Investor Day. As you can see on the left side of the page, this recovery has been based obviously on growth, thanks to a buyer market which has become a seller market, but also based on selectivity and premium pricing, more productivity and cost out, supported by a decentralized, more accountable organization and lean deployment. Having the benefit of a very strong tailwind from a strong market growth is nice. But what really makes the difference is the action you are making with it. To stay very simple, over the last 2 years, we only booked the deals we liked, and the deals we were capable to pursue and to execute. And in parallel, we contain our variable costs by redesigning to cost the product and improving the labor efficiency and continuously reducing our fixed G&A cost. And the result is there on the right side. From a negative 9% adjusted EBITDA margin in 2021, we reach approximately 4% positive EBITDA margin in 2023, an improvement of 13 points from minus $0.5 billion to plus $0.2 billion adjusted EBITDA, while our revenues have grown by 25% between 22 and 23. In 2 years, we've gone from a loss-making business to a profitable business on a very strong growth trajectory. And in parallel, we built a more resilient, better quality equipment backlog for the future, while executing diligently our legacy lower margin business. As Scott said, one of the most important indicators for profitable growth is the quality of your backlog. And we focused over the last 2 years to build a new backlog, underwriting deals with better pricing, much better pricing, more favorable conditions, T&Cs, liabilities, better protection on inflation, and at the same time, lowering the execution risk exposure we have, both contractually and technically. On the left side of the page, you can see that we more than double our backlog, going from $5 billion to $13 billion in 2 years, while sequentially improving our margin up to 6 points in 2023 compared to 2021. Our book-to-bill ratio has improved in a similar way, giving always the priority to pricing, better T&Cs, margin quality versus the pure search of the volume. On the right side, our backlog has now a longer convertibility profile, and more than 50% to be converted over the next 2 years. It provides a significant visibility for future revenues. Our ambition is to continue in 2024 and the year after to build this backlog with the same quality. And we think that we have a unique opportunity because all our customers are claiming for more deliveries and even faster deliveries. So we are doubling down on deploying lead time reduction, productivity, and capacity extension to serve this future growth. From a past highly cyclical and turbulent business, we are now offering a sizable long-term revenue and high margin visibility. As a conclusion, I would say that 2023 was a great year for the electrification segment, no doubt. We grew revenues by double digits and reached our first profit in a very long time. I'm very proud of what has been accomplished by all our teams. But it is only the true story, the true start of this story. What is our vision? This profitable growth should keep on accelerating. Our guidance for 2024 is low double-digit revenue growth and mid-single-digit adjusted EBITDA margin. The demand growth should remain strong at least for the next 5 years. And the megatrend for electrification favors a bullish cycle for the next 2 decades. That's really exciting. Our increasing backlog, both in volume and higher margins, should secure these targets. Margin expansion will highly benefit of both volume and pricing sequential improvement in 2024, but as well in 2025, and the year after, with even more profitable growth. We stay committed to delivering a predictable long-term value in a fast-growing market. And remember, our future is electric.